Celebrating 70 years of coverage you can count on. This is KCBD News Channel 11's Daybreak Today.
Now at 6, Lubbock residents have proposed numerous amendments to City Council for the new Unified Development Code. Plus, 2 U.S. senators are back in Washington after visiting the hub city. What they heard from area farmers for the next farm bill is on the way. And Idalia, now a tropical storm, continues to batter the southeast this morning as it makes its way back out to sea. The full story is just ahead. Good Thursday morning. Thanks for waking up with us on Daybreak Today. I'm Angie Wynn. It's the last day of August. Steve Devine joins us now with a peek at today's forecast. Steve, some call August the Sunday of summer. Good morning.
Good morning. Looking at summer trying to wind down, but hold on. It says just wait a moment, or maybe a whole holiday weekend. Right now, though, it's really nice outside once again. We have fair sky, winds are just about calm. Abernathy, the weather station outside of town there, is 62, the airport 66. We still have 71 at the weather station outside of Slayton, but a lot of 60s from roughly Lubbock to the west and the north, and then a few low 70s out over the eastern part of the viewing area. Seminole right now at 66 degrees. So beautiful start to the day. It's going to get quite hot. Lubbock yesterday hit 92. This afternoon, we're going to peak at about 97 degrees. So temperatures in the 90s all afternoon long, generally just a light wind and a sunny sky to go along with it. I mentioned more heat coming up for the holiday weekend. I'll have an update on what you can expect for this holiday weekend. Labor Day is Monday, coming up in just a few minutes.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Steve. Topping local headlines, the Lubbock City Council met this week to discuss a new Unified Development Code. They encouraged Lubbock residents to attend and propose amendments. The new code will regulate how Lubbock land can be developed and zoned. However, not everyone is happy with the rules. KCBD News Channel 11's Joshua Ramirez reports.
We will consider and open up a public hearing to consider amendments to the Unified Development Code.
It was a list of a dozen amendments put before the Lubbock City Council, covering everything from landscaping to the definition of a family. Residents in favor and opposed to the 12 topics had their chance to be heard.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
One major sticking point involved zoning near Texas Tech University.
You know, if we look through the map a little more closely, we'll find that that dark green is scattered amongst residential neighborhoods.
That green color marks the area zoned for high-density residential use, allowing for mid to high-rise apartment development for mixed use. The adopted UDC currently allows for the construction of mixed-use buildings up to 75 feet tall in those areas.
And if you look around the city, you know, you'll find more examples of that.
The areas focused on, however, involved the construction of apartment complexes near 19th Street and University and in the South Overton neighborhood.
There has been measurable discussion in the last 3 or 4 or 5 months over 2 projects that are obviously taller than 45 feet. A bunch of emotion through those conversations. I would hope that council and planning and zoning would adopt the premise for a vertical mixed use, a maximum height of 45 feet.
The proposed amendment would do just that, something one of the property owners says is specifically directed at him and his company's efforts to erect a new complex.
He's afraid we're going to come back and try it again, and it's likely we will. But I just think it's wrong to change something for a single property. The aim here is to prevent us from being able to do what we want to do there.
Mayor Payne says the UDC is not set in stone, will continue to be an evolving document until the October 1st effective date. Now, this means there will be more opportunities for the public to voice concerns. Classes are canceled today at Brownfield High School as students and staff mourn the death of a teacher. Brownfield ISD released this statement yesterday saying a teacher suffered a medical emergency on campus before the start of school Wednesday. First responders arrived quickly and tried to help, but the teacher unfortunately did not survive. With the mental health of students and staff in mind, classes are canceled until tomorrow. At this time, the district has not released the name of the teacher or the cause of death. In Plainview, 5 people are in jail this morning after an altercation at the Hale County Juvenile Justice Facility. Police were called to the location Wednesday morning. An employee reported a car drove by with a passenger pointing a gun at him. Police were able to locate the vehicle and recover a handgun that had been thrown from the car. 5 people were involved in the incident. Alberto Martinez Jr., Jalen and Jaden Morales, Miguel Castillo, and Ruben Pena all have been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and organized criminal activity. 2 U.S. senators are back in Washington after visiting Lubbock this week. Texas Senator Ted Cruz and Arkansas Senator John Boozman visited the National Ranching Heritage Center yesterday. They were there to hear priorities for the upcoming farm bill. One concern area farmers explained is not knowing when the legislation will be passed. The expiration date for the current farm bill is September 30th. Cody Besant with Plains Cotton Growers says it's crucial for it to be passed by the end of the year because some farm bill programs follow the calendar year.
We can be relatively okay till we get to January 1. Then we're going to start running into some challenges.
Senators Cruz and Boozman agree taking care of farmers and ranchers is critical, and without a good farm bill, we could all be paying more later for food and clothing. Topping headlines across the nation, Idalia, now a tropical storm, continues to batter the southeast after making landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. NBC's Wendy Woolfolk reports from Charleston, South Carolina.
The first major hurricane to hit Florida's Big Bend region in more than a century. Idalia's storm surge exceeded expectations Wednesday morning, more than 10 feet in some places.
I don't think anybody expected it to be this bad.
Weakening slightly to a Category 3 when making landfall. Billboards and buildings still no match for gusts up to 120 miles per hour.
Nobody's going to get power for weeks.
Leaving behind countless downed trees and ravaged structures. The storm quickly moved into Georgia and up the Carolina coast.
Jason was trying to pull the door shut and he couldn't do it. He's a big guy.
A tornado in Charleston turned this car upside down, injuring 2 people inside. While the low country is no stranger to flooding, the high tide, a supermoon, and just inches of a tropical storm surge can cause catastrophic destruction.
There is, of course, a lot of debris to clean up, but we will get working with that with the local communities to make sure that the roads are cleared and people can go back to their lives.
After 4 states in 48 hours, Idalia leaves behind days, weeks, even months worth of damage to repair. Wendy Woolfolk, NBC News, Charleston.
Tropical storm Idalia is expected to head back out to sea by this afternoon. Checking in now with Steve Devine for a look at our forecast here on the South Plains. What can we expect? How are things shaping up?
Pretty mild weather for us overall, and once again, Idalia is not a part of our forecast. The center of the storm, the tropical storm now, is more than 1,300 miles away from us. By the way, at one point, National Hurricane Center had a forecast that the storm surge could reach 19 feet in some parts of that what they're referring to as the Big Bend of Florida. But right now, the center of the storm is generally just to the southeast or east of Wilmington. And again, as Angie mentioned, headed out over the Atlantic Ocean. So it's possible over the weekend it may affect the Bermuda area, generally as a tropical storm. Still could produce some locally heavy rainfall there. But again, not a factor in our forecast. We have fair skies currently here at the Lubbock Airport. We're 65 degrees. Wind is calm. Gorgeous morning out there right now, but it's going to get hot this afternoon. Headed for mid and upper 90s for most of us. Lubbock at about 97 degrees. Wednesday generally on the light side. It's going to be sunny. Again, think about those heat safety tips as you make your plans and go about your activities today, but not just today, in the days ahead, because there's more heat ahead. Again, expecting those high temperatures, upper 90s to around 100 degrees, give or take just a little bit. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as well as Labor Day. My forecast remains dry here all the way through at least Labor Day and likely on into next week. We'll watch some potential changes there. But once again, we're still looking at some pretty mild conditions for our mornings. If you're going to be outside, especially around dusk and dawn, don't forget the mosquito repellent.
They are still out, aren't they, Steve? Darn it. Thank you. Still to come on Daybreak today, Lubbock universities are working to use AI to their advantage, how they're encouraging students and teachers to use it as well the right way. Plus, Ford is recalling more than 40,000 of its Super Duty trucks. Do you drive one? We're helping keep you and your family safe with what you need to know this Thursday morning. It's all ahead on Daybreak today.